So the first thing which we do always, whenever we open a file, the first thing we always look towards is formatting it, putting the number in the right structure. So what is the exact problem with this data set? Anyone? Any specific problem you observe?
Uh, there is a gap between number and data. One is one means column is not filled.
No, which is that's fine. I put it intentionally. So,
No.
So
but
Vivek, I
No,
think the
just like
format of,
yeah,
sorry, go ahead.
formatting,
Yeah.
especially the time, percent, currency, right?
and
The number
So
of decimal places that we have in the in terms of its
yes,
visualization.
it's also
mm,
not structured. So
mm,
And
mm.
Vivek, there
and
is a
even in a
problem,
and in please.
text and number formatting actually,
mhm.
because number should be on right side and text should be left side. Maybe this type of thing actually, as per the Excel.
Yeah, which is fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what else? Somebody was saying something. Sorry, I missed. Okay. So first thing first, we always look to format it. So as Soumya pointed out correctly here, my decimal places are not structured. Ideally, we prefer it to a certain decimal places. Similarly, this is time, but it stores in a form of numbers. So just a fact, I'm not sure if you're Excel either treat a cell value, either it's a text or it's a number. So any date or time, it's also stored as a number in Excel. It's just that it's formatted as date or it's formatted as time, but Excel treat it as a number. So it's our the moment we receive any file, the first thing we always try and do is that ensure that my data is proper structured. So for example, I would like to format my numbers into two decimal places. So put it on the chat if you know the keyboard shortcut. No one. It's Control Shift 1. When you do a Control Shift 1, all together, pressed all together. Control plus Shift plus 1. When you press all of them together, any number will be formatted two decimal places because that's my system default format. So every system has their default formatting. When you do a Control Shift 1, it will be formatted with two decimal places.
So Vivek, in case we need say 3 decimal points or no decimals at all, and round it off to the largest, nearest possible number. So is there a modification to this formula?
So this is not a formula. So this is, we are not
Just
talking
a
about
keyboard
formula. It's a
shortcut,
keyboard
right?
shortcut
Correct.
just to format.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
Right. Correct.
I'm not changing the number. If you look at the formula bar, this is my formula bar.
Yes. Hmm.
So when you look at the formula bar, my number still remains 9897, but it's just that I'm formatting it. So there is a difference between changing the inherent value versus the uh, formatting it.
Right.
So if you, so right now I'm just formatting it so that it looks, format is just like makeup. I'm applying a makeup to it.
Hmm.
So if you wanna change it to other decimal places, then there are two ways of doing it. And there is no keyboard shortcut to it unless you create one.
Okay. Yeah, I've been doing the longer way where you actually go to the number format, then you go to the number, and then you select the decimal places, on the I believe forgot which tab, but I think
Yeah, it's under home
the
tab basically.
right.
But by the way, I used a keyboard shortcut. You didn't see
Hmm.
anything changing. So what I did,
I, yeah, I saw the. Oh, okay.
so this is what I did. I am not using my mouse right now. So there is another thing which I would like to quickly show you is the quick access toolbar. On the top
Hmm.
of my Excel, do you see the icons?
Yeah.
Different icons. These icons, I have kept it from different ribbons,
Hmm.
whichever I use frequently. So the one which you have been using it, if you have to reduce it to your required decimal places, you would have done it. You selected the number, then under Home
Yeah.
tab, you have gone to this increase decimal or decrease decimal.
Right.
So right now I'm doing two steps. One is selection, then I'm going to home, and then I'm using this. Instead of doing
Hmm.
this, what I've did, I've selected this, and on my quick access toolbar, I've put that
Hmm.
particular feature. So I really don't have to, and I've collapsed my home ribbon so that I get more real estate, more screen space. With laptop, the screen space is a challenge. So I've collapsed my ribbon. So now I can see more number of rows and all my frequently used tools. They are available at the top of my Excel window. So how I can do that? This is quick access toolbar and it's really helpful and I use it quite frequently. Whatever feature or tool you frequently use, you right click on that and then you say add to quick access toolbar. Doesn't matter which page you are or which ribbon your tool is. You right click on that and you add to quick access toolbar. So it's pretty handy. All of
Hmm.
your commonly used features, you can get it at the top of your Excel window.
Hmm. So does that become the innate feature of Excel
Yes.
across
So
all workbooks?
yeah. So now if I open any new workbook or
Hmm.
any existing workbook, so let's say this,
Hmm.
it's always available.
Okay.
So it's basically lies with your profile. It's mapped with your profile. So as long as your profile, every window user has its own profile, the username with which you log into the system. As long as your profile is there, it will be always available. And for that matter, it is those who are using PowerPoint or Microsoft Word, you can apply same thing with that. So you can have your own quick access toolbar for any Microsoft Office product. So whatever feature you use quite frequently and you're not sure, because at times we kind of forget where did that feature exist. So finding is one of the challenge. It's better you you do a right click and then you can do an add to quick access toolbar. So I'll give you a couple of minutes to actually quickly put things on quick access toolbars. For examples, I've put increase font size apart from the font colors and the background color, the font size increase, decrease, the sorting options, decimal point increase. These most of you use quite frequently. So take your time, take a couple of minutes actually, and then whatever feature you use quite frequently, you just put right click, add to quick access toolbar. And in case if you want to remove it, you go to the quick access toolbar, right click on that particular icon and remove from quick access toolbar. So do that and then share a screenshot on the chat. Let me see what all features you guys are using frequently. Done. Let's see your screenshots.
Yeah, I'm connected through iPad. My laptop is not working, but I'm opening Excel in laptop, and it is quite easy to add some files in quick access and remove it.
Great. And one of the biggest benefit you get actually, you can create your own keyboard shortcut. So for example, the keyboard shortcut to format any number to 2 decimal places is Control Shift 1. If I want to
Yeah,
reduce
control.
it, so if I want to reduce it further, so what I can do is I'll do an Alt. Now, the moment I do an Alt, look at the Quick Access toolbar. It has assigned numbers to each item.
Sorry,
So
I couldn't understand. I couldn't understand. What was that?
so when you click on Alt, when you press Alt on your keyboard,
Mm-hmm.
the moment you press Alt, yeah, it starts giving you the suggestions on the numbers. On the Quick Access toolbar, you will start looking at the numbers. In
Okay.
the on the ribbon, you start getting. So for home, it says H. So now if I press H, it will open the home key, home ribbon. Similarly, in Quick Access toolbar, I want to reduce it further. This is my decreased decimal. So when I do an Alt for decreasing decimal, who's sharing the screen? Mohit, you want to show something? All right, I'm taking back the control. Thanks. So when I press Alt, my Quick Access toolbar is giving me a number. For this is 04. So now when I do 04, I have created my own keyboard shortcut to reduce number of decimal places. If I want to increase it, what should I do?
Sorry, could
What
you
should
repeat the question, Vivek?
so to do it for 2 decimal places, it's Control Shift 1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if I want to further reduce it, then
Mm,
either I go to Quick Access toolbar and do this, or I can
right.
use my keyboard shortcut. And at this moment, my keyboard shortcut for quick
4.
decreasing decimal is 04, not 4,
Okay.
04.
0 4.
4, yeah, 4 is
So,
for,
so means whatever time you are pressing 0 4, it is decreased
yeah,
by 1 decimal.
yes. If I want to increase it, then what should I press it? Alt and then
0.
05.
Okay.
Sorry, 03, not 05. Alt 03. So you can create your own keyboard shortcut. So for example, if I have to sort this, how will you sort it? You want to sort this. One way of doing like this. What's another way? Alt. My sorting is 9. So I can do Alt and then press 9. Oh, sorry, not sorting. Sorting is 08. So you can have your own keyboard shortcut with quick access toolbar if you wish. Otherwise, mouse clicks works fine. So especially for the laptop users, and when I moved from keyboard to laptop, normal full-fledged keyboard to laptop, a lot of keyboard shortcuts were kind of redundant. A lot many things which I couldn't use. So for that only I use quick access toolbar. So any sorting, it really helps me. I can just use mouse and it helps. Quick access toolbar. There are two more features which I would like to show in the quick access toolbar. So apart from the features which you frequently use, one of the key things which we do is send emails, send the files, whatever file which we are working. How would you send this file? Let's say you're working on this file and you would like to send it through an email.
So Vivek, there is an option in the bar above.
File, yeah.
File share,
So
Sure.
go
and
to
then
file,
No,
File
no, no.
file
send,
heading.
share
share.
like
And
this,
there is a shortcut above
and there is an
the
email
guest
option.
shortcut. Email option shortcut.
When you click on this small down arrow, you will find this email option. So when you click use this email option, it will open your default email client, which for me right now it's an Outlook, and I guess for most of you is also an Outlook, and it's attaches the file and I can send it from here. So you can customize your quick access toolbar. You right click, customize quick access toolbar, and you get all these options. So you can rearrange it. You can have a feature which is called command not in ribbons under choose command from. There you will find this email option also, and there is another option which is auto filter. So for example, I want to filter this order priority low in the DD table. I want to filter order priority low. How quickly you can tell me in minimum possible steps I can do that?
Control Shift L, and
Step
then probably
1,
from the drop down box is
step 2,
selecting.
step 3,
That's
step 4, step 5.
yeah.
That's how you can do it.
Mhm.
Step 1. 5 steps versus 1 step. So this auto filter option, which is again available in quick access toolbar,
Can you do it again,
and
Vivek, please?
yeah, I'm showing you that quick access, that auto filter option. First, you have to enable that. So you right click on the quick access toolbar, customize quick access toolbar. Under choose commands from, you select commands not in the ribbon. So there are so many commands which you will not find in your ribbons. These are your ribbons. You will not find them there. So right click, choose commands from, commands not in the ribbon, and you will find this auto filter there. I'm using this auto filter. So I've put auto filter in my quick access toolbar. I've added it. Once I've added it, now let's say I want to filter any particular cell. I'll just select that, click on that cell and click on. The only catch is that I can select only one cell. So I cannot do not specified and critical. This will not support, but I can do critical. So from one column, I can have one selection.
Vivek facing a bit of a challenge there. So I added auto filter in my Excel, but apparently, if I'm selecting the field I want to filter, the filter gets removed. Did I just add something wrong there?
No. So okay, let's see your screen. If you can share your screen.
Sure, 1 second. Yeah.
Maybe in this company laptops that autofilter is not provided.
No, no, it's no, it's Excel's feature. It's
No,
nothing to
it's
do with the
working. It's
company's
working.
laptop.
I tried. I
Are
just
you able to
tried.
see my screen?
Not yet.
Okay.
And do share a desktop, not anything else. So don't share the window, share the desktop if you are.
Now,
Okay, yes. So yeah,
so this is filters. Did I add the wrong
yeah,
attribute
this
there?
is not auto filter, this is filter. So
Okay.
right click on the
More
quick access toolbar
commands. Commands not in the ribbon. Auto filter, correct?
and
This
remove
gets
that add or remove. Yes, yes. Remove that add or remove filters because that is different. So you select on the
okay.
add or remove filter. No, no, you have not added it. So you
Yeah,
first
one
remove
second.
this, click on remove,
Yeah.
click remove. Yeah. And then add the auto filter.
Okay.
Either double click or yeah. Yeah, okay.
Mm, now, this is auto filter now, right? Okay, perfect. Got
Okay.
it now. Yeah, thank you.
So I find this quite useful, handy, especially when I have to quickly filter out my data.
Yeah, Vivek, sorry
Mm-hmm.
to interrupt you. Can you please show it once again?
Right. Who can show? Soumya, maybe you would like to show.
Sure.
I want to show.
Sorry. Mohit, do you want to go ahead?
Yeah, yeah.
Go for it.
Great. Good.
So, sorry, before we go ahead, Mohit, if you could just do a control Z once again. So,
Bumma
if the
kudi.
filter is selected, and we want to go back to the original format, right? So, how do we remove filters in that case? Is it like a control Z, or do we just go and select all fields there from the drop down box?
If you want to
Undo.
remove filter, then you do simply Control Shift L.
Okay, there's no auto shortcut for that. Okay,
Control Shift L. Basically, it removes filter. It adds
got it.
filter. It removes filter.
Sure. Understood.
Yeah, Mohit, good.
So I selected at critical auto filter.
No. What was the question? And who asked the question? Sorry.
Yeah, actually, my question was how to add this auto filter in this quick access toolbar.
Right, Mohit?
Yeah, Mohit, go ahead, please. How to add this?
Yeah. So you have to click right here, customize quick access toolbar,
Just
and
1 second. One second. 1 second. Actually, okay. Customize. Custom sort. No.
then go to commands not in the ribbon. There you'll find here the auto filter.
No. This customize quick access toolbar. Then
Yeah,
we have to go on more
commands not
commands.
in the ribbon.
Commands not in the ribbon. So this icon is not showing now in my case.
All right, Shambhu, can you share your screen? Maybe then
No,
we can.
actually,
We
I
will be
think this
able to.
Teams is not working on my laptop. So I have
Okay.
connected through iPad. This is showing means you are
Oh,
not from this organization, and that's why it is not connecting.
strange. Rest everyone is able to connect. So
No, I tried 3 4 times, but every time it was showing. But
you have to
before
check
that
with your
means
IT team maybe then, because
no,
rest.
actually Teams was working well. Means today morning 9:30 till 11 we
No, no,
had a
no, no.
meeting on
It's not.
Teams only.
It's not. It's basically it's a access rights issue. So
Okay,
IT team
okay,
has to check the access
maybe,
rights for
yeah,
you.
maybe.
Yeah. So you can check with them.
So, okay.
All right.
So
Meanwhile,
Vivek,
so
Vivek,
yeah,
let me pitch in into it. Actually, on in iPad there are many restrictions because it's an Apple machine. That is why on laptop we do not face any challenges. So that is why he's
Yeah,
facing.
iPad is working. Uh,
No, Shambhu, sometime
this
what I do, sometime if I want to, paste some data from Excel to
uh,
email, it will
uh,
never allow. So it says
okay.
that your organization is protecting data. You are not allowed.
Yes.
So that is why you're facing this thing.
so Shambhu, just to thanks Mohit. Just to quickly show it to you.
Yeah.
When you can see this window, right? Customize quick access toolbar.
Just 1 second. Let me do this. So customize quick access toolbar. Okay. Then automatically save new, open, save, email. These all options are
Yeah.
showing.
So now
Uh,
under choose commands from, you need to select commands not in the ribbon. On the top
so
left, do you see choose commands from?
no, this is not showing.
You getting this window, this Excel options window.
Excel options. See, like
Okay, maybe
Vivek,
we can.
hi Vivek.
yeah,
Even I am
Yeah.
not getting this window.
Who's this? Is Ranjit?
Wasim here.
Wasim. Okay. You
Yeah,
can you share your screen?
yeah, sure.
Okay, great. Go ahead. By the way, Mohit gets 2 points for volunteering and answering it right. So good.
Yeah, Vivek, can you able to view my screen?
Not yet.
No.
Are you sharing your screen, Wasim?
Yes. It's not coming. Now, I think there's some issue here.
I don't think it's working right now. We can take this and after some time. All right, let's move forward, and we can take it in the break or maybe post session if
Okay,
it's all right.
fine, Vivek, no problem.
Thanks. But to just to reiterate the quick access toolbar, you can try on your. So you have to right click on the top where you have icons. Right click, and then you will get this customized quick access toolbar. In this Excel options, this opens actually Excel options window. In here I can, so these are my quick access toolbars or features which I've added. If I have to rearrange it, I can do it from here. If I have to add something, I can do it from here. And then there are two commands which we used, commands which you will find under commands not in the ribbon. The first is autofilter and second is email.
Vivek, I am not getting this icons also, the top icons. The file, it is the same in the file which you had shared with us, no?
No, it is not dependent on the file. It's dependent on your profile actually. So
With,
you right click.
and
Let's
Vivek,
let's say
this filter option is showing in this ribbon, but when I'm using filter option, it's not working.
when you hover, what does it say? Auto filter?
When I just click on
No, no.
filter,
When you just put your mouse on this icon, what does it say?
just it's auto filter. Now,
Okay,
it's work. Now it's working. Now it's working.
good, great.
Thank you. Okay, it's okay.
What I was talking
Vivek,
about, I
Vivek Ranjit this side. So is there any
yeah.
limit to add the tools into the quick access toolbar?
It's a screen size. It's not the limit actually. Now after some point, your icons will start showing. It will not show up here. It will start showing in the drop down. So
Okay.
let's say if I'll keep on adding, so it depends on the screen size.
Okay.
So if I'll let me just keep on adding and then I'll show you what it happens.
Okay.
See, now I get this down arrow. It's no
Okay.
longer because my screen is not able to accommodate the
Hmm.
rest. So it will not show in right at the top. Then I have to
Okay.
click on this icon to get it.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
So, but if your screen size, if you're using a larger screen, then it's no, that's not a challenge. Then you can. It completely depends on your screen size. All right. Moving to the next one. So this one, I do Control Shift 1 to format it 2 decimal places. Next is time. It says time, but it's not formatted as time. So I can use a keyboard shortcut, Control Shift 2. And the simplest way to remember this, that usually whenever you say somebody that you reach at this time, what is the symbol you use? At the rate. So Control Shift 2 does the time. Similarly, do you know what this 18 Jan, why Excel is representing 44214? What is the significance?
It is reading it as a number.
Yeah,
Yeah, but what is
Axel
the
is
significance of, yeah, what is 44213 then?
17th
I
January.
think it's a year.
No, it's 17 January. Your guess is right because Excel stores date in the form of serial number, and the
Right.
first date in a system, by the way, it's not just Excel, it's a Windows PC. The first date, or actually, I guess it's in Macintosh as well. The first date in any system is 1st January 1900. That's the first date you will get. For that, the serial number is 1. From that day, today, 17th January was 44,213th day.
Okay.
So 44214 is next day. 44215 is days followed by that. So today is what? 18 January.
18th
If I
Jan.
convert it into date format, sorry, number format, it says 44214. It says from 1st January 1900, we have spent 44,214th day. So when I do a Control Shift 3, Excel formats your number into a default date format. putting everyone on mute just to avoid the background noise. So at times we receive data in form of date time. So you can quickly use your keyboard shortcuts to format your number or format your data into either date or time. Control Shift 2 will transform into or format it into time. Still my number remains or the value remains unchanged, but it will just look as time, and Control Shift 3 will transform it into date.
Vivek, sometimes the format of the date also needs to be, I'm not looking specifically for the day rather than looking at just the month and the year. Is there
Mhm.
a keyboard shortcut for that as well?
There is no keyboard shortcut for that. Then we'll talk about custom formatting in a while. Then we'll talk
Okay.
about that. But to quickly, these are quick transformation. I have received data. I just want to do some quick transformation. If it's a date, I'll just do a date. And the difference will show when you apply a filter.
Hmm.
So when I formatted it as a date, I get date as a filter. When I format as a time,
Hmm.
in filter, I get time.
Right. Okay.
So whenever we receive data, we quickly want to review it. For
Hmm.
reviewing, we need to have it in a right format. So that's where these keyboard shortcuts really help. So Control Shift 2, Control Shift 3. If I have to do it a currency, the default currency format.
Vivek, so I have a doubt. So if we required here date,
Uh-huh.
we can select date. If you require time, we can select here time, right?
Yes, basically you select format it as a date or you can format it as a time, depending on what your requirement is. If your column has a date time value.
Okay.
So this was my original value. Hold on, it's gonna take some time. Yeah, this is my original value, date and time. I get so many options for date and time. But if I just want to see only time, I format it as time. If I just want to see only date, I'll format it as date.
And simply, if we want only date, then Control Shift 3, and if you want time only, then it's a Control Shift 2.
Yes. Similarly, if you need just if you need to quickly format as a currency, then any guess?
Control Shift 4.
Control Shift 4. Who said that?
Ranjit Singh.
Ranjit Singh. Very nice, Ranjit. And if you'll notice this symbol on your keyboard on 4, the symbol is
Dollar.
currency. Yeah, dollar currency. Alt IR. What exactly Alt IR stands for, Soumya?
Sorry, so Mohit was asking a question on how to add a row in an Excel. So
Hmm.
it was an independent query.
I prefer, yeah, I prefer usually Control Shift plus, but yeah, Alt IR also works. We'll talk about that more also in detail. Few other keyboard shortcuts. So Control Shift 4 will do a default currency format. So right now at the moment my default currency format is dollar. If you want to change it to your default currency format, you have to, I guess you need admin access.
So Vivek, if I want to fix my currency format into rupees permanently,
Mm.
so how I can do that?
So you have to take help of admin because that is done through number format
Okay.
in control panel. So if I,
Because every time if I have to convert it, I have to go again
yeah,
and then convert it into rupees. So that is a
yeah.
lengthy process.
So yeah, date and time format, change date time settings. So basically you have to change it from here. You need to have admin access.
Okay.
Sorry, not this, change data set. So you need to update all this. So you can do that from through admin.
So that can be done by our IT only.
Yes. Or if you have the admin access, then you can do that. But yes, you need the admin access. And last but not the least,
It's a Control Shift 5.
Shift 5.
yes, Control Shift 5, and simplest way of remembering, on 5 you have a percentage symbol.
Yeah.
So these quick keyboard transformations saves a lot of time, especially when you receive data, you quickly want to format your numbers like this. So Control Shift 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 will be quite handy. And if you let's now, Soumya asked, I want to give it a specific format. Let's say instead of 18 Jan 2021, it should read as January 2021. Putting everyone mute because I can hear my own echo. So when you have to provide some custom formatting, then you need full access, and which you can get through format cells. The keyboard shortcut to get a format cell is Control 1. Otherwise, you right click or you do a format cells. Here you get all these options, but I'm not going to talk about the others. I'm going to talk about custom. This is quite handy where you can define your own formats. So let's say I just want a month. Look at the sample. So when I typed 1M, so it is giving me a value for this 18 Jan 21 because that's the first cell selected. So what is the month for 18 Jan 01 21? Number 1. If I do
Mm-hmm.
2 M's, then it made 01. If I do 3M, then it made it Jan short. If I need complete January, I do 4M's. Now, what's the next format? I need year. So do I need a hyphen or do I don't need a hyphen? If I don't need a hyphen, I do a space. Y. If I do 3 Y's, I get complete year. So now if I click OK, my date is again, the value doesn't change,
Mm.
but the format did.
Okay.
Similarly, if you need just, if you want to add date to it, somewhere in between, so I just add one D.
So right now we
Instead of
have month, date, and year. If I need date, month, and year, I just move D in the beginning. Got it.
DMM1Y.
Got it.
So it depends on how you want to format it. The key is for date is D. So instead of let's say 18 Jan, you need the day, which means whether it's a Sunday or it's a Monday. What should be the? the same, just like month. 1D will give you single date. 2D, actually, if I make it, let's say, instead of 18 Jan, I'll say 1st Jan. NS. 1D will give me single date. If I make 2Ds, it will say 01. So it's a placeholder. And if I do 3 times short day, if I do 4 times long day. If I need it in the same, so you can define your own format using custom formatting. This is for date. I'll give it a couple of minutes for you guys to practice and ask any questions if you have. Then I'll move forward for the custom, more on formatting aspect.
So by selecting entire row, we can do it for entire row at one go. Hello?
Yes, yes, you can. So Excel works on selection. Its
Yeah.
selection is very important. So whatever formatting you're doing, if I have selected only 3 rows or 3 cells, all the formatting or anything, any action I'm performing will happen on with those 3 cells.
Okay. Got it.
Let's just say you did it on one and you forgot to select others. What will you do then?
We will simply click on the that end of the this column, and then it will get replicated.
Format cells.
Or we can,
Either I'll go to home and
Yeah.
double click on this,
yeah.
or I can do this. Format painter. This is
Yeah, sorry,
format
format
painter.
printer, not format cells. Sorry.
Or you can use another feature which is paste special. We'll talk about in some time,
Okay.
and then do a paste special and then I formatted it. But we'll talk about more on that. Are we good with the custom formatting so far? This is custom formatting. I'm doing custom formatting.
Yeah, all good.
Right, no questions. So using custom formatting, I can add lot many things. So let's say I've defined my format and I want to read this as, let's say, the currency or the invoice is $126. The invoice is $128. Something that like this, or paid amount. Oops, sorry. What's the difference? The moment I add a text to it, what is its challenge?
The currency symbol has gone.
You won't be able to calculate as a currency.
Yeah, it has become a text. Now Excel has started treating as a text, and how I can identify how many of, let's say in a column, I want to quickly identify if there is any text or not. If it's a currency, I know that everything is a currency, but if I want to quickly check, validate if any of these items have texts or not, how can you do that? Nobody knows. On the bottom left where this is status bar, can you see count and numerical count here?
Mm-hmm.
Do you notice any difference?
Right, the count is
Yeah,
6, numerical count 5, which means one of them is not a numerical.
Number. It's not a number. So do you guys know how to get this numerical count? You have count, I believe. You have average, you have count. But I'm getting the minimum, maximum, and numerical count also. I'm selecting any number, the field which contains a number. I'm getting, so here the count and numerical count both matches, which means there are no text. Numerical count is 5, is 6. So there are 6 cells which has data, but only 5 has numbers. To get so these status bar not only helps me to understand the sum, average, and count, it gives other information. So if you want to add those information, you right click on the status bar, and I believe your numerical count, minimum and maximum is unchecked. You can check them. This is the quickest way you can identify. This is a very small data set. Let's just imagine if you have a large data and you want to quickly validate if everything has the right data or not. So count is 1064, numerical count is 1063. I've selected the entire column, so header, so which means rest everything has numbers. Even if I add a text to it, now count 1064, numerical 1062, ideally it should 1063, which means my data has some text. So you can quickly validate your data through status bar by using options numerical count, and then minimum and maximum actually helps you to quickly analyze your numbers along with average. Okay, so let's just say my objective still remains as is. I want to display text, but I want to treat it as numbers. For that, I can use custom formatting. So I'll select whatever format I want to display. So this is my currency format. I've put it 0 decimal places using format cell. Now I'll come to custom. I'll come to the first cell and in double quotes, starting with double quotes, double quote end, space. So within double quotes, I can add text. So at the moment in double quotes, I've mentioned invoice amount. And when I click OK, still a number, but with a text. Within double quote, I can add any special character as well. So I can apply mathematical calculation, any formulas on the cell, still it will read in form of proper message.
Can you do it again, Vivek?
Sure. So you first, you define a format using, let's say I want, so by default it's a 2 decimal places. I want to, let's say 0 decimal places. So I'll do a control 1 format cells. I define a format. I picked a format that this is how my number should look like. Then I come to custom, go to the left, on the extreme left, where I want my text to be displayed as, if I want to display it on the left. Then in double quotes, start double quotes, I'll type my text, sales amount, colon, double quote. Then
Okay.
so this way you can make your report look neat, and you can have as less cells used still your, and you can apply formulas. I can multiply this with any given number. It will still work because inherently it's still a number. If I look at the the formula bar, it's still a number 90.45. It's just that I've formatted it to look like this. So custom format helps me to achieve that. This is the structure defined by Excel, which we'll talk about in detail in some time, but I can add my own texts within double quotes. Okay. So who wanna start? So these are our errors. Primarily you will find these errors. I've seen all of them, some of them.
Yes.
So let's say one answer. Shiva, when you receive hash NA, what does this error represents? Shiva is here. He is online. Shiva, can you hear me? No. Shambhu? How about you?
Yeah, I'm there. Yeah.
So hash NA, what do you, how will you
I think this is related to some formula wala values if we copy and paste without putting a special value.
Nope, that's not this. That's not exactly it means.
Okay.
I think this
NA
is the
means
error because of the
Sometimes,
name.
sometimes when formula gets deleted or
If
something
no.
like
name is incorrectly mentioned,
So,
that's the
N
thing.
N NA
so
is what? NA stands for what?
not
Not
available. So
applicable.
the reference is not available actually. The
Data
value
Not
is
not
not
available.
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 Yes. So you usually get this kind of error, especially in you're trying to find something in VLOOKUP
Yeah,
or
Vivek.
XLOOKUP.
even that
Yeah,
that
we
particular
find
cell
this
is
error
not
sometimes in VLOOKUP.
Yeah. So hash NA means whatever you're trying to look for, that
Yeah.
value is not available. So
Yes.
that so if you're looking for, let's say, for example, an employee ID or a let's say store or vendor ID in a vendor ID column, that value, that vendor ID is not available, and that's when you get a hash NA. How about this div 0?
Some deviation in formula.
When something is divided by 0 and 0 is not understood by Excel, what I think.
Who said that?
Ranjit Kumar.
Ranjit Kumar, very nice. It's not about Excel. Mathematically, what is the what happens when you divide something by 0? What is the output you get?
0.
0.
Nope. Nope.
Infinity, no?
Infinity.
Then,
Infinity.
yeah,
Infinity. Anything divisible by 0 is not mathematically possible. So that's where you get this error. So you will get this error. Any number divided by 0 will give you this div 0. Value, hash value.
When there is some error in the formula or the formula is typed wrongly, then the hash value can come.
Nope. Nope.
If we can't pick the formula rightly from the two columns, sometime it comes.
So let's say I've mentioned this formula 1, 2. It's fine.
Yeah.
It's giving me the value. Even if I'll do 0, it's fine because I'm multiplying.
Yeah. Yes.
Two similar attributes, I think the two
Basically, you're performing
non-talking
mathematics. Yeah.
attributes are not
Yeah.
being
Not talking.
multiplied or
Yes.
mathematically operated.
Yes. And basically not, it's mathematical operation. You're trying to perform a mathematical operations on text. Then you
Okay.
get
Right.
this hash value. How about this?
Formulas get deleted.
when formula
I
is
think the
not
reference cell. I
typed,
think the reference cell is not is
I
missing.
I think so.
Who
What
said that?
happened when sometime we
Gaurav.
copy something.
Yeah.
So you
Who
you
was
have
saying
put a formula,
sometime
but
copy?
that reference of the cell is missing.
Yeah, what
Yes.
happened when sometime we copied something and pasted over and it is overlapped? Then I think it then this error is
It's not
visible because of
exactly No, so Gaurav mentioned it right. Actually,
Reference cell is missing.
it's basically so Excel a formula. We are talking about formula, right? Formula is always referring to some cell.
Yeah.
Either you write a formula within the cell, something like this, or you mention to a particular cell. So I'm saying that this cell is multiplied by 2. So whatever this formula is being multiplied by 2. Hash reference, basically whatever reference I'm giving here is missing. And when it will be missing, for example, I cut this formula and I paste it here. What will happen if I cut the formula, if I copy the formula and paste it here? What will change?
The referenced cell.
Reference cell.
So right now, if I copy this formula and paste it here, so instead of D12 multiplied by 2, what will formula will read if I'll paste it in this row D21, in the row
D10.
21?
D10
D10,
multiplied by 2.
right? So as I'm moving up, my formula is also, reference cell is also
Changing.
moving as per the, what will happen? If I'll put it here, what is the output I'll get?
D8.
Here I am getting this, I'm copying this formula and pasting it here. What is the output I'll,
Hashtags reference.
no, hash
Hash
value.
reference. A value, sorry.
Why I'm getting a value?
Because you're multiplying it by a text and not a number.
Yes.
Yeah. So if I'll move it to here, what will happen?
There is no value in that.
Reference.
That is empty.
Reference.
It will talk
No,
reference.
it will. But if I'll paste it here now, what will happen? Here it's still multiplying with blank, so it's 0. If I'll paste it here, then I get
And
a reference error
Reference.
because Excel is not able to find anything beyond this. What exactly this is? So what we call it, and we're going to cover maybe tomorrow, relative referencing. The way it is shifting automatically, Excel is shifting the formula from D12. Original formula was D12 multiplied by 2. When I copied and pasted it here, it became D10. Why? Because I shifted my location of the formula by 2 rows. Hence, my reference shifted by 2 rows. So on and so forth. But when I shifted it here, it couldn't go beyond certain rows, right? And hence I'm getting this reference error. You will get similar error, especially when you do a VLOOKUP. How many of you have used VLOOKUP in chat? Can you put in chat used VLOOKUP? Yes, no, both. Okay. Most of you have now used it, but basically, conceptually, those who understands VLOOKUP, it's trying to find a data in a table.
Reference.
Yeah, it's in a table. So let's say I'm talking about this table. Where is it? DT sales. I'm trying to find data in this table based on my order month, hypothetically. My table has in total 14 columns. So if I define my table like this with 14 columns and in VLOOKUP, I'm saying give me the 16th column or 18th column. What will happen if somebody asks you to give you the 18th column when the column has 14 columns? What will you say? What will be your
It will give
typical
an
question?
error, no?
No, no. My question is, let's just say so your supervisor gave you a file and said that in this file there is a sheet. In that sheet there is a table. Can you give so let's say order ID. Order ID by order ID, give me let's say whether the status is returned or not, and the order return status should be in the 16th column. You came to this sheet DT sales, you saw the table and you found that there are only 14 columns. What will be the question?
Might be it is hidden.
No, which table you are referring to? Would it be
Actually, there is only 14 tables, so where we can find the
14
16th
columns?
one.
Boss is
The,
saying that 16th, give me the 16th one. So you will
that's why I'm
ask
saying
the
that might
boss.
be, yeah.
No, it's not hidden. It's just basically which table you are referring to. I'm not getting it. I don't have it. So there, so whenever you see a hash ref, which means whatever column or cell you are trying to find is not available. It's basically it's out of range. Here I went out of the range of Excel. Similarly, that's what. And what about the name? Hash name.
Uh, I think Vivek, normally in VLOOKUP I have seen sometimes it's maybe because I have spelled it. So because now we have a drop down where we select VLOOKUP. Sometimes when we type
Hmm.
the formula,
Hmm.
it is misspelled.
Anything which Excel is not able to recognize.
Yeah. So
Any
maybe if I'm
keyword,
typing
especially the
VLOOKUP, if I
formulas.
miss V, then it will give
Yeah,
me this error.
yeah. So any keyword. So I said equal to VKIPP. It says what it means. What exactly you're trying to tell me. So each error has its own meaning, and accordingly you can troubleshoot that what type of error I'm getting and what could be, because every for hash NA. So let's say you receive two errors. One is hash NA, another is hash name. What will be your troubleshooting in these two? So
The question is hash name and
hash NA and hash name.
so in hash name, it's mostly about relooking at the formula and seeing if there's a typo error or we need to use the right term that we want to get the result.
Hash NA.
And hash NA would be more around rectifying, are we even looking at the right data set to evaluate or do analysis on? I mean, is the source data which we are trying to look at is even there? And if yes, then is it using the right, is it really using the similar numbers, a
Right.
format? Maybe it's
Format.
not really
Yeah,
doing a
whatever
text
keyword,
versus
but
numbers. Yeah,
yeah, but no, whatever you're looking for is not available in that particular
right,
column or field.
right, exactly.
And if you get a ref in the
That's
VLOOKUP, let's
probably
just say,
then probably is the data even there? I mean, is the array that we're looking at, does it have the kind of length and breadth
so,
for which we're
yeah.
looking
So
at the
if it,
reference?
yeah, breadth will not length, it will
Yes, I mean, yeah, agreed.
columns. It's basically on the columns.
Columns, correct, correct.
So you have defined your table for 14 columns. You're asking for something in 16th or 17th column. So that's where you say reference error, or you copy pasted something which is beyond, or wherever whatever it was referring to has been replaced or moved out. Okay. Any questions on the errors? Saves time if you know what you're looking for and why you are getting error. Any questions?
Sometimes when you get when we get an error, there are some Excel tips that come in, right? I mean, they help us to figure out what exactly is the problem, and Excel offers to put that solution. I mean, I don't know. I do cannot recall of specific situations like those, but sometimes when there's an error, there's a pop-up that says that gives a suggestion on how to rectify it. Yeah. Yeah.
So you can use this.
Mm.
So how can you, one thing is, so, okay, another question. I want to delete this cell value, or I want to change this value, but I'm not sure what all it will impact. It may be linked.
So the question is how to change the value without impacting
No,
other
no,
numbers?
no. How can I identify what all cells it impacts?
So probably looking if it is linked, then there will be a formula that will be
No, there is no
associated with
formula.
it.
Okay. So this, I've used this formula with this, right?
Hmm.
Let me put another formula. I'm using another formula. This multiplied by 1, 2, 3. Okay, let me put another use. So I'm using another sheet. Or let this 1 to 5. I'm gonna write a formula equal to 1 to 5 multiplied by 78. There is no formula in 1 to 5, but if I'll delete this, there are changes happening in the sheet and maybe in
Right.
other sheets as well. So
Hmm.
before you make any change, or if you wanna be sure where all it impacts, you should know, especially when you're working with someone else created file, or for that matter, you created your own file after 2 months, you don't know what you have done. So you wanna validate, if I change this, where all it will bring the change. How can I quickly see? So the
So
answer, yeah,
yeah. So again, maybe this is a long way of doing it, but in the formulas tab, there is something known as show formulas. That's where I've used and seen how where all formulas have been put and which cells have they referred to. I mean, not sure if that's
this
the
one,
best way to do
this
it.
one.
Yes.
Yeah, this is, but again, it will show each and every formula, but this will not
Hmm.
give me. So one is if it's on the same sheet, you can do paste special and then do dependents. Paste special, I'm sorry, my bad. Go to. So with this cell selected, I'm saying go to special dependents, direct and all levels. That's one, but this will go do it for the same sheet. But if I want to do for all, I'll go to and then I'll say trace dependents.
How you do that? This.
Hmm, just a second. Why it is not accepting? So basically you go to formula. Let me remove arrows. So I want to see if this particular cell has any, it's linked with anything else. So I go select the cell, go to formulas and then trace dependents. So it is giving me in this particular sheet, it is this value is being referred by this cell, which has this formula, and this cell, which has this formula, and there is other reference as well, which is beyond the sheet. If I click on this arrow, I get again go to window. So before you, so that's how you can quickly edit your sheet or understand your sheet, or if you want to make changes. Before you want to make changes, you want to be sure. So similar to dependents, you have precedents. Basically, if this is a referred value, for example, 31st Jan, is it what all cells it's taking inputs from? So let me remove arrows, formulas, remove arrows. Now this cell, from where it is taking value. Right now I can see it's taking value from the D10 and H9. Instead, I can also do formulas, trace precedents. So value of this cell is driving from this cell and this cell.
So Vivek, can you explain it again?
Explain as in the use of it or how to do it.
So how to do it? That which value impacts which other cells and
So
how
there
to
are two
take.
questions. There are two questions. One is whether this particular cell, any
Yes.
cell you want to modify or change, you want to see whether it is taking as an input,
Yeah.
whether this is an input for any other sheet or any other cells. So you
Yes.
select that particular cell, go to formulas, and you say the dependents. Show me all the dependent cells.
Okay.
So it
Okay.
will give you all, it will highlight all this. So two, it is saying that for the cell D9, cell D9 is referred in this cell, which is H9, and in this cell, which is D19. So in
Okay.
D19 and in H9, it is being referred. And apart from that, there is external, which is beyond this sheet. So this
Okay.
arrow. So if I'll click on, double click on this arrow, I get a list where I can go and see where it is referring to.
Okay.
So before
So
I
when you're
delete, yeah,
sorry, please go on. I'll ask later.
yeah. So before I make any changes, if I don't know what the cell is doing, I
Hmm.
can quickly do this before I make any change in the file or in any calculation, whatever you can call it.
Okay. Okay.
So
And when we
just
will do the precedent, we can check from
reverse
where
way.
this is taken.
Yeah, where it's coming from. What is the
Okay.
source?
Got it. Got it.
So
Thank you.
for example, this I need to understand what is the source, where this 125.99 is coming from, what all sheets or what all cells. So I can select this cell and go trace precedents. It says, oh, it's coming from, I'll double click on this arrow. It's coming from here. So it will take me to the sheet. So dependency check is helpful here. Yeah.
Right. So Vivek, when looking at the uh, the precedents or the descendants, dependents, so there could be multiple referencing that might be happening. So for example, 125 here is linked to another sheet at the back,
Mm-hmm.
which
Mm-hmm.
might be linked to another sheet, you know, which is a third sheet, which is not this sheet. So
Mm-hmm.
will it keep showing that trajectory,
No,
that how things
direct,
have come?
direct, direct.
Only direct. So there was an option of all levels also. Will that address that?
Here in this, no. In this, you have just only one.
Okay, okay,
It's on the go-to, and go-to works
okay,
only on the same sheet.
okay.
It doesn't give you any beyond the sheet. The scope of go-to is current sheet.
Okay.
That dependence, if I'll say direct only, it gave me two cells,
Hmm.
but it's not giving me this one. So
Hmm.
go-to works only the same sheet. Rest, the formula bar dependents and precedents works on multiple sheets, and it will work on the direct linking. but not
Okay.
beyond that.
So just maybe just for my understanding, so 125 in the previous sheet, if I go back, there was another sheet which had 125.99 value, right? Where right. So this 125.99 in itself might be derived from a third sheet. You're saying that even that tracking is not possible, even though it's a direct reference of 125.99 in a third sheet.
No, it will just refer to that original sheet where it is coming directly coming from, not linked.
Hmm. Okay.
So
Vivek,
you
I have
then,
a question.
yeah,
Yes. Sorry. So this 125.99, you just copied that from sheet 1 to sheet
yeah,
3.
I did equal to, and then I refer to.
Okay. Okay.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
So it's not copy paste. It's
Copy
basically I'm
paste. Yeah. Yeah.
referencing. I'm
Okay.
referencing. It's a reference. So this is all about formula. We're talking about formula because that's only if it's a standalone. For example, this cell is not dependent on anything. So if I'll say trace dependence, nothing. So it doesn't matter if I delete it, it will not impact.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, got it.
So the only point, the use of the main use case of this is that if you wanna make changes and if you wanna be sure, or if you're not sure where all it is impacting or it can impact, you quickly go ahead and see where all it is taken as an input,
Yes.
and then you can make your informed decision rather than you made a decision and then you're trying to change it back. Oh, something happened. I shouldn't have. So this is what this helps formal trace dependence and precedence. Okay. All right, so moving towards some other important aspect which is kind of useful is, have you guys ever used Excel table? So this is a normal table, no formatting, nothing, nothing special, a regular table. There is something called Excel table. Ever used it?
Yes.
What's what's the difference?
So I think it is, first of all, it is a little more formatted with in terms of the, how we want to visually represent the data.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a ready-made table. You can use it as per your reference, increase the number of fields and rows. I've mostly used it for visualization purposes, or
Yeah.
if I have to format the data in a certain
Mm.
manner in those cases. Mostly
So
that's been the
yeah,
use, or also sorting the data. I have to highlight the top 10, the bottom 10, greater than, all those things I've used.
so top 10, bottom 10, you can actually do it through filters.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter. You don't need a Excel table. You can do it through here.
Hmm.
That's what you can do. But tables, one thing, so you pointed it right that you can so make it look better. So for example, now if I have to convert into table, so I'll do Control T as in table, and I'll check my table has a header. So the moment I do that, Excel quickly transform it into a structure, more a structure way. And one thing which you will notice is that the moment I click inside a table, I get an additional menu. We call it contextual menu. Depending on what you have selected, you get that menu item. So I've selected outside table. I'm not getting that option of table. You will get maybe design. Mine is table design. Your may say table design. So let's first convert into a table. You select anywhere inside Excel on your regular table and then press Control T. Control T as in table. And since your table has a header, so one of the primary requirement of a table is that it has a header. It should have a header. You will not call this as a table because there are no headers. You don't know what this Jan 2019 is. What are these? So you need to have a header. Table is a structured data. For structuring, you need headers. So what is this number? It's all sales. This is order quantity. So you need to have this. So Control T, my table has headers. If this option is checked, click OK. And Excel transform it into a table, and then I start getting this contextual menu of table where I can pick and choose how my table can look like, so I can make it a better looking design. That's one. I have all these design options, so if I don't need band rows, I can check or uncheck that. Similarly, I can have a total row, just like your quick analysis. I can actually get the calculation without writing a formula. So this is sum. This is also, let's do a sum. And this formula is dynamic. When I say dynamic, if I select the ship mode, the total which it is giving me is for only a particular ship mode. So it's dynamic. I can format it. I have all these designs available to pick and choose from. If I write any formula in a regular Excel table, if I write any formula, let's say, yeah, sales per unit, and the formula is sales divided by order, I have to copy paste the formula. I have to drag the formula or copy paste it to the last row. In the table, when I do that, it does this automatically. And if I add any new row, my formula also gets, and my total also gets updated automatically. It covers the entire range. So I don't have to worry about whether the formulas which I have applied has taken the proper range or not, all this.
Vivek, how this total row came? Actually, I missed it.
Who can tell?
I can
It
try.
comes as a default function of the table,
Go to
Excel
design.
table. So are you asking Ranjit whether you
Yeah,
how to get this table
yeah, yeah.
format or just the
No,
total
no,
row?
table format I know,
You can
but
see it.
total this
It
row.
Go
comes
to any
as
part of table,
Okay,
and there will be a tab called design on your right side.
okay,
Click on that,
okay.
and you see 2 3 options there,
Hmm.
like total row, header row, banded row. Click on total
Okay,
row.
got it, got it, got it. Yeah, thank you, Mohit.
Cheers, man. Cheers.
Hmm. Yeah, any questions on the table so far? And then you can, from the total, you can pick and choose what calculations you want to show. So I'll give you a couple of minutes to practice this. And ask any questions if you have, so that we can move to the next. Any questions? No. Right. So another benefit of a table. So look at look at this screen, please. And can somebody tell me, without looking at their own file, what this column I, this value is 8.49? Is it, how can I ensure that I can see what this 8.49 is? Basically headers.
Or many times we freeze the column.
So you select this and then you do a freeze.
Yeah,
Then only it's visible, right?
right.
If you don't freeze it, then it's gone. Otherwise, I have to freeze it. So what I can do instead, I convert this into table. If you don't want to keep any design, you can just remove the design. It's still a table. And how I can know it's a still table? While I'm selecting, I have this table design option. Now, do you see any change?
The headers have become the field beyond the Excel cells, as in it has become a constant row just above the beginning of the
Yeah,
Excel.
all the names A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H has been replaced
Vanished.
by the name of the. So basically, if I'm inside a table, my headers will be always visible. So I don't have to freeze or unfreeze a row, a column.
Yeah, so it makes easier for us.
Yeah, it does.
One thing, Vivek, whenever we are converting into the table, so
Hmm.
this is every time it will automatically get the filters on.
Yeah, automatically it gives you the filter. You can remove it by Control Shift L. Control Shift L is, by the way, you apply a filter and remove a filter. It's a toggle. So if you don't need a filter, then you do a Control Shift L, or you go to table design and.
Filter button. Yeah, got it.
But Control Shift L is more convenient because that's where you can quickly, you don't have to use mouse, lesser the better. Okay. So that's table. Now I want to highlight.
Vivek,
Yep,
sorry, one question. There is another option, Alt DFF, right?
which is four
To
keys.
okay.
Control Shift L, still convenient than Alt D F F.
Alt DFF. Okay.
right?
Yeah.
Do you agree? Yes, no? Yeah, Alt
I agree
DFF.
with you.
We used to do that in when I was using the Office version of 2003. Then Alt DFF was the option. Yes,
Uh-huh.
it has been
Thank you.
replaced by Control Shift L. Okay, great.
Okay. Yeah.
So now I want to highlight all those shipping cost which is above average.
So one basic question,
Mhm.
how you remember all this Alt and Shift and Control?
Practice. Practice.
Okay,
Initially, yeah, I put myself in a position that I'm not going to use mouse, and I have to apply a filter. So for 2, 3 times, I have to refer to my notes or website, maybe 4 times. Fifth time, I know.
okay,
But consciously, I'll put effort that I'll not use mouse or I'll use keyboard shortcut. Fifth time, you will know. But for the first 3, 4 times, you may not. You're not supposed to remember each and every keyboard shortcut. And not each and every keyboard shortcut is maybe relevant in your case as well. So whatever is relevant, you initially to put effort, and after that. So okay, and let me ask you this: how your finger remembers that where is A and where is B in your keyboard now versus the first time if you remember using this QWERTY keypad or keyboard?
Regular usage and practice.
Practice.
Regular usage, or
Yes.
first time you drove a car or a motorcycle, how you remember when to press a clutch or where is a clutch for that matter and where is a brake?
Conscious and subconscious mind.
And yeah.
mm,
Oh, and there is a steering as well. Oh, let me, which what should I all do nowadays? Once you practice it, it basically becomes a part of the. So
Yeah.
it's all into that. It's all in the inside the brain. Initially, you have to put effort. Once you've done it and you've practiced, and in this case, 4 or 5 times. After fifth time, you will remember the keyboard shortcut. And fifth time in a week or two, not 5 times in 5 months. For example, I have a MacBook, and I at times I forgot. So copying. So I'll give you a very simple example. Cut paste in Windows is pretty simple. Cut Cutting a file from a folder and pasting it to another folder. It's pretty simple. You do a Control X, go to another folder, and you do a Control V. That's it. In MacBook, it's not
But
that simple. There is
it's command. It's command.
no Command X doesn't work. It's a Command C, but when you go to another folder, you have to do Command and then Alt V. So I've been using MacBook for 3 years. In last month, where I had to use it frequently, I remember that. Earlier, I used to Google because I was using it once or twice in 3, 4 months.
Yeah, I too googled some of the things like particularly for screenshots.
Hmm. So yeah, screenshot is another issue in MacBook. So
Yeah,
it's basically when you use it frequently, you don't remember, you don't need them. But you have to, then the last 3 times, I made sure I'm using keyboard shortcut. Then I remembered. Now I remember. So you have to put it in, put effort on the brain. Then brain will do the rest. Okay. Right. Coming back to this, what we were talking tables. So yeah, the question is now I want to highlight the top 5 items or above average. Let's do above average. Shipping cost with highlight. One is filtering. So I can do that filter, number filters, above average. It gives me that. But highlight means visually representing those numbers which are above average. So my average of this shipping cost is 16.889. So all numbers more than 16.889 should be highlighted. How will you do this? Somebody answered this question as well in the pre-assessment.
Conditional formatting?
Okay, you're telling me or you're asking because your tone
Or telling,
is
telling.
okay.
Conditional formatting.
How should we go about conditional formatting?
So on the home page, the home ribbon, there's a option of conditional formatting. If you click on that, then there are top bottom rules.
Can I
So you
do
can
a
actually
all right, so home, conditional formatting,
top
highlight,
bottom or
top.
highlight cell rules. I mean, you can choose if there's no ready-made option. You can actually have you can go to more rules, or then you can use you create your own rule. Yeah.
So I can do home, conditional formatting, top and bottom rules, above average, and I can pick and choose
Mm.
all those items. And then I can actually filter by
Color.
color as well if I wish. So conditional formatting offers lot many options and it's more of a visual representation of data. I can quickly format and depending on the data, oops, it shifts accordingly. So if I change this to any smaller number, the above average, below average also, I make it 100. No, make it 10. Let's make it 10. So it's dynamic. So you select your cells on which you want to apply formatting. Go to home, conditional formatting, and you have all these options. Less than, greater than, equal to, duplicates, data bars. And if you don't like this particular color and if you wanna change this, so you go to rules manager, either home, conditional formatting, manage rules, or you select the cells and do Alt OD. OD. OK, the V. Alt, then O, then D. Then it gives you the list of all the conditional formatting applied on this particular sheet, where it has been applied. So this data bar has been applied on H6 to H35. This data bar is applied on E6 to E35, and the above average is applied on I6 to I35. So you can change it from, you can change the range from here. You can make some changes to your colors. Instead of green, I need this. So select the cell, Alt OD, you get the option of editing your existing applied conditional formatting. If you don't need something, you can delete it from here. So the profit one is gone. Similarly, you can add it from here, but adding is more convenient from home because you get lot many customized, basically easy to pick and choose options from here. So we'll give you take a break, take a pause over here. We'll give you time to practice, apply some conditional formatting, and ask any questions if you have. Yeah, any questions? Okay. So shall we move to the next?
Yes.
Cool. So when you have smaller data set, it's pretty easy to do the sum, summarize it, see the average, minimum, maximum. What about when you have large data table like this or something like this? How can we summarize it? Because this is raw data. This is not giving me any insight. So I don't know how many orders were by particular order priority or all right. To answer that question, we're gonna use pivots. So how many of you use pivots? Put it on the chat. Pivots before. So Ravinder has used it. What about the rest? What do you mean by Mohit used but haven't created? As in someone else gave you that?
Yeah, I have navigated and used it in past, but I haven't created any. Somebody shared and I just checked it. I just went through it.
Okay.
Yeah, but I don't know how to create it. That's
All right, so creation part is pretty straightforward actually. So you have to be inside any table. So okay, most of you have not used it or not seen it, so good thing. It's very useful, especially when you have large data set. For example, let's use this TT sales. So it has 1,000 records, approx 1,000 records, and if let's say you have to quickly summarize it that by a particular order priority, which order priority? Let's say which order priority has the highest number of orders. So one way of doing it manually, you go by each order priority, you sum it. So for critical, it's 4684. For high, it's 6188, so on and so forth. But that's not useful. Second, if somebody asks a further question that, okay, then for which province? Or for which product category it is. So to answer all these analytical questions, it's pivot is very helpful, and a lot of analysts use it. Even today, I'm using it. It has been what, 15 years. I still use it. So anywhere inside Excel, you select it and you use the keyboard shortcut Alt DP, Alt Delta Papa, or you go to Insert Pivot Table. And click OK. So Alt DP and then you click Finish or F. So both way. You will get a
Can you
window.
repeat? Can you repeat
Yeah,
the
sure.
shortcuts?
Alt DP, Alt Delta Papa. and then F for finish.
Alt, then D for Delta and
Uh,
P for Papa.
uh,
D plus
Not all
P.
of them together, basically Alt, then you press D, and then you release the D, then you press P. Not all of them
Okay,
together,
not together.
one after another. Yeah. And then F for finish. So you will get a additional sheet with a view like this. Everyone has this sort of view.
We can't practice it simultaneously at
Why?
looking at this.
Yeah,
So do this.
if we use insert option, insert and power table, then it is asking one window will come table
Yeah, then
range.
click OK.
It automatically covers. Okay.
Yeah, click OK then.
Yeah.
So practice
Used
that.
to sometimes no, I have used it sometimes, but I'm not familiar with all the options. But sometimes then that range case, no, so I don't know if we click OK also that will show that your range or something is not matching. So what all are those possible errors which can happen
That
in this?
depends. That depends on how you've selected the option. But when you do insert and then simple pivot table, then you do not get any of those errors. Basically, so if you look at this,
See,
when you
the reference isn't valid. Whenever I go for it, it's a reference isn't valid.
so
You
you
know, where
have
is
to
the
first.
data that you want to use?
That's what. So the first thing, the first step I mentioned, click anywhere inside the table. You have to be inside the table on which you want to create a
Okay.
pivot. So
Okay.
I'm inside the table, and then I'm going insert and then pivot table. Now, if it is asking for range, so what you can validate is one thing is that your table select from table or range, and it says DT sales, which is the name of the sheet, A1 to N1064. So my data is from column A to N, from row 1 to 10.
1064, yes.
So that's where I can define, or I can be sure whether I have all the data points or not.
Hmm.
Second, then there are two options here where by default it says new worksheet, and that's I would always recommend that always create your pivot in a new worksheet.
Yes.
Okay, so these are two things which you have to just take care. So in case if you're selected anywhere inside pivot table, automatically it take cares of all those two options. So you have to be in and you have to be sure you have to, so you don't do like this. You
Correct.
don't do like this. Any cell, single cell, or the entire table, either way, but I prefer single cell. Any single cell, then insert, pivot, and click
Okay.
OK. So all right, let me know if when everyone has a new sheet with a pivot table fields like this, then I'll move forward. Put it on the chat as soon as you have it. All right, looks like most of you have it. So the moment you get it, one thing I would always recommend is to change some of the settings, actually a couple of them. So first thing first is the way it looks, this pivot table field. So there are two options of it. One is this small area where it shows me all the list of all the so basically here I'll do the summarization, but this is where I can select. So pivot table has four fields, four parts. So I'll explain it, but before that I'll recommend that click on the settings and use this option side by side. So this gives you more real estate for selecting your fields. These are all your column headers of a table. order month, order priority, order quantity, all of them are coming from your table. So that's the first thing you should do. You click on this gear icon and then do a side by side because it gives you more space. That's one. Second is optional is I sort my field in alphabetical order. So because my mind is trained to read any information alphabetically. So for example, if it's not sorted alphabetically, it's sorted in the order the table is. If I'm talking about customer, by default customer segment, I'll try and look at the top of the table versus here. So if I sort it A to Z, if I'm saying customer segment, then my mind automatically takes me to the first field or the top of the table. So these two settings I would recommend everyone to do, and give me a go ahead once you've done it.
Repeat it again, Vivek.
So click on the gear icon. By default, you have view like this. So you select side by side, filter section and area section side by side, the second option from the top. And the second is sort instead of data source order, you do A to Z.
Okay, got it.
Done for everyone. Mohit gives me the confirmation. What about the rest? All right. 4. Are you guys facing any issues or just looking at it, not doing it?
No, actually, I am not able to create this pivot table by Alt DAPA with F. I'm not able. That's why I'm just stuck there.
All right. Can you share your screen?
Yeah. Can you see? This is the table.
We're actually we're doing on the second one, the DT sales, which because it has more data, but nevertheless you can do it here as well. Or let's do it on the DT sales, the next sheet. So who can guide what to do?
Yeah, I think. Okay.
Go ahead, Ranjit.
Yeah, go ahead.
This is the table. Now I need to press Alt DAPA then F. So
What is
that is
DEPA?
not functioning.
Alt
D.
D, then P.
Yeah. Alt
First,
D
you select
P
a cell.
F.
Yeah, now,
It's
yeah.
coming.
Now, you just go to gears.
Please
That
go
is
to the
just
settings.
below the cross function. There is a settings function, gears. You just
Hmm.
click it, and then there is a field. Yeah, that's good.
Side by side, and thereafter
And again, yeah.
again setting.
Alphabetical.
Again go to
Again go
settings
to settings.
and select A to Z.
A to Z. A to
Sort
Z.
A to Z.
So why on that earlier sheet that Alt DAPA F is not working and now it is suddenly worked?
It will work all the time. You can try that now. Let's do that on the earlier sheet.
Okay.
Go to that sheet. Hold on, it's there on the bottom left. Do you see the arrow, the 2 arrows On the right hand, yeah.
Okay.
Click on click on the click on the right one. Click on the right arrow. Yeah, it's DT table.
DD table, no? Right.
DT table.
Alt F. Okay.
It will work.
Now it is functioning.
Okay.
Earlier, what happened at after Alt that D and P and is like on the cell it is printing. It's
So
not
you were not
catching.
selecting the right. Yeah, you were not selecting, or you're not doing the entire command. There must be something missing. But this is the keyboard shortcut. Otherwise, you can
Okay.
always go to insert and pivot table. The first option you get on the top in the insert. If you don't remember the keyboard shortcut, see, remembering keyboard shortcut is not mandatory. It's good to have. Knowing how to insert a pivot is mandatory. So you can go to insert and the first option you'll get is a pivot table. So you can always do this. Okay,
Okay. Thank you.
welcome. So now let's talk about pivot tables. So in a table, what all the components of a table is. So if I'll talk about, where is it? So a table has rows, right? These are rows. A table has columns. These are all columns. And then in each column, or for each column, you will have values. So for critical, and for ship mode express here, the value is 221, 238, right? So that's what a pivot table will have, those components. It will have rows, it will have columns, and then it will have values. These are three important ones. So now, what is our first objective? What was the first question which we have to solve? Total orders by ship mode, order priority, sorry. How many orders for each order priority? What is the order quantity for each order priority? So what I will do is I'll pick order priority in rows. The moment I put order priority in rows, so basically it's simple drag and drop. Excel will give me all the unique order priorities. These are my order priorities: critical, high, low, medium, and not specified. Exactly what you get in a filter. So the moment I drag and drop under rows, for each row, I get one order priority. Now I need order quantity, which is any mathematical calculation. If you want to perform any mathematical calculation, you have to put that column in the values. So what is the mathematical calculation we want to perform, and which column to get the total order quantity? By who can answer?
It's a discount.
No, we need to understand the order quantity, total order quantity by each order priority. How many orders delivered for medium, critical, high, and low, and not specified? So what is the mathematical operation and which column?
I think we put sales in value column.
Order quantity. We need to understand order quantity. So we'll
Order
drag
quantity
and
will
drop
go into
order
values.
quantity in the values. So I'm asking Excel that can you sum the order quantity for each order priority? So I'll do it one more time. This is my basic pivot, no field selected. If I put order quantity in the values, 27390 is my total order quantity. If I do a sum of my order quantities column, it's 27390. Now I want to see it by each order priority. So I'm asking Excel, can you give this detail 27390 by each order priority? So for how many orders out of 27390 for high, low, and all that? So I'll
So
put order priority
order priority into rows.
rows.
Okay, order priority rules now.
So 27390 comprises of critical with 4684, 6188, so on and so forth, and I can sort it from high to low using your regular sorting feature. So high order priority has the highest orders, 6188. Now similarly, if I want to know what is the amount, 6188, okay, I'm selling 6188, but what is the sales amount? Now which column I need to use and where?
Sales into values.
So sales, this sales amount, which is sales field. So I'll put sales into values. One thing I would always do is the once I've put into values, I'll like to format it because it doesn't look nice. So I'll click on the values, this down arrow, value field settings, number format, and since this is a sales amount, so I'll put currency. Similarly, value field settings, number format, number, 1000 separators, 0 decimal places. I'll give you, I'll take a pause. I'll let you practice this part and ask any questions if you have, then I'll move to the next. I'm putting on every mute right now. All right. So Mohit has done it.
And Vivek, I think uh, we can do it through drag and drop function also. But I think we can
This is
also using it with a checkbox function, because
checkbox
whenever we,
actually, yeah. Checkbox, the only challenge with the checkbox, the way, okay, the reason why I always use a drag and drop is because it gives me more control where I'm putting it. Checkbox may or may not do
it's a
that.
default, I think.
Yeah. So it may not give me the exact option. So to answer your question, yes, you can do a check as well, but I prefer drag and drop.
And in a sums of sales where we want to put it in the currency value, then Control Shift 4 is also working.
Yeah, it works, but
Yeah.
that's again, it's not recommended because now you will see when we'll keep on adding more and more in elements to it, na, then it may or may not give you the right picture. So you Control Shift 4 primarily actually will format only selected cells. So if we'll add more rows to it, then formatting may not be reflected.
Okay.
So do one thing. You add product subcategory under rows and tell me, do you have everything formatted like this?
Product category has to go into columns.
Not columns.
But it will divide into furnitures and all the stuff. No? Yes.
So which will talk
it gives the breakup. It gives the
yeah, we'll
breakup
talk
of
about
if you want
this.
the breakup, then it has to be into rows.
Yeah, so now let's move to the next. Are we comfortable with this now? The drag and drop and the
Number formatting, yeah. All
yeah.
done.
So okay, now moving to the next is that it just not allows me to do a sum. I can do other mathematical operations as well. So this is my sum of sales. So I can rename it instead of sum of sales. I'll do a go to value field settings and I can call it
Total.
anything revenue, maybe total revenue. Similarly, sum of order quantity, I can rename it as total orders. So it looks nice. It looks better. Now, instead of total, oh, not instead, apart from total, I want the average as well. Average of sales. So what I can do is again, I drag and drop sales into this. Go to value field settings. I name it as average sales. And here, summarization field by. Instead, by default, it's sum. I'll select average. So I'm getting average by, apart from sum, I'm also getting average. Similarly, I can do a maximum and a minimum as well. Value field settings, select maximum, and I say max sales. And again, drag and drop sales, value field settings, and this time minimum. So that's one aspect of it, that I can do multiple calculations. Second is, so we have used, now pivot helps me to view information from multiple perspective. And when I say perspective, now I want to see this entire view, let's say by customer segment. So either I can do right click, add as a slicer. Now these are my customer segment, consumer, corporate, home office, a small business. By consumer, now I can click on each slicer, and for each slicer I'm getting a different value. So if I'll click on consumer, I have 5,706 sales. For high, it's 1416. And these are my total average max and min. Similarly, corporate, home office. So I've got a dashboard looking kind of feel here, and it's pretty straightforward. You select the pivot, the field which you want to add as a slicer, which is just like a filter. You're filtering this table further. You right click, add as a slicer. So you can create an interactive. So right now I've selected small business. So I'm looking at sale values for all where customer segments equal small business by each order priority. And since I've sorted this by revenue, if you can see, my order priority is changing as per. So for corporate, not specified order priority has more revenue versus in home office where it's high order priority. So it's completely dynamic and I've not used any formula.
Done.
And then you can add more categories to it. So now under high, you want to have further, you want to drill down. Let's say you want to do it by product category. So under rows in below order priority, you drag and drop product category. So right click, let me collapse entire field. So for high, it's 1334 and I click on it. I have a further by product category. So for under high, furniture has 191, office supplies has 860, 283. I can again, this is right now sorted on the revenue side of it. Similarly for low, furniture, office supplies and technology sorted on. It's not sorted, so let me sort it. Yeah. So you can have it that step level, and I have a slicer as customer segment. So I have a very simple looking data summarization or dashboard available for me to quickly analyze performance. It's more of a drag and drop. Right. Please feel free to ask any questions if you have, because आज के लिए इतना काफी है. You guys need to practice this before we move to we go one level up from this.
Yeah. So Vivek, I'm logging off. Actually, I have to join in the another meeting.
Okay, sure.
Thank you for today. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, any
Vivek,
questions?
in terms of max sales, in terms of max sales and minimum sales, you have changed the name of the tab. Yeah.
So when you do value field settings, you have the names over here. So you can define the names.
It. Okay.
Yeah, Vivek, I changed there in the sheet itself.
No, it's not recommended. You should do it in the value field settings. You can do that from the sheet itself, but it's recommended because any which ways you have to open value field settings.
Yeah, I just tried actually.
Yeah, that's a good thing, but I'm just sharing the best practice. Any which ways you have to use value field settings. So the moment you're opening a value field settings, you can do it here. It's cleaner.
Yeah, in one go, everything will be done.
Yes, exactly. Efficient.
Great, done.
Vivek, can you just explain once again in how you added max sales, the formula?
So whatever column, so first thing first, it has to be a number column because on that you can perform a mathematical operation. So whatever column you want to perform, so you drag and drop.
So if I'm trying to do it on profit,
so you drag and drop profit.
Yeah.
So by default it says sum. Now I go to value field settings of that, and here I can do max.
Okay. Got it.
So it has to be a number field. That is the only requirement, and it doesn't matter what.
what I can understand that value has to go into value. That
Yeah, because no, it can go to rows and it can go to columns, but values where all the mathematical operations
mathematics. Yeah,
summarization happens.
yeah.
So here we are performing all the mathematical operations, sum, min, max, average. So it has to go into
Yeah,
values.
this is how you can do it now. Average, minimum, and
Yeah.
maximum. Yeah.
So my question is, what will happen if I put any text into values? What is a mathematical operation you can perform on a text?
It's those functional error.
No, it will. You can still perform a one mathematical operation on text, which is count. So you will get a count. So it will give you the count of all those fields.
Okay.
That is the only thing which you will get. If you perform any other thing, then you will get a 0. So for text, when you drag and drop text into a value, it will give you count. For rest, you can do the mathematical operations available. All this min, max, product. Those who works with mathematics, variation, standard deviation, all that. So tomorrow, sorry, not tomorrow, but day after, we'll see more on pivots, but this is to get you started. So you need to practice a bit before we actually move this level up.
So Vivek, if we get this right side pivot table fields, if we close this, how we can get this once again?
Right click on the table,
Click any cell. Yeah.
show field list. This is field list.
Show
So if you
field
close
list.
this, then show field
Okay.
list. Okay. Any other questions?
No, done for the day. I hope.
Done for the day.
Yeah.
Enough for the day.
Yeah.
It felt like that. Yeah, I can imagine. Oh, Monday work plus this. But practice, guys, and if you have any questions, feel free to connect. I'll be happy to answer any of those questions.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Vivek.
You're welcome. Thanks.
Hey,
Take care.
Vivek, thank you
Thanks,
so
Vivek.
much for an
Thank you.
interactive session.
Yep,
Thank you.
sure. Thanks.
I enjoyed thoroughly.
Great. Good to know that. Hopefully, you'll enjoy the next one more. Today it was just more of introduction.
Yeah, in my previous organization, I tried my hands on pivot, but yes, few of the things which you told, like average, maximum, so I was never knew, never thought that this was this much of easy.
You will see a lot many things now. So next session we'll do. This is
Yeah,
just scratch
one,
of pivot, so you can do a lot more with pivots.
see, when it comes to PowerPoint presentation, I have never attended any workshop, but yes, I have, I have checked everything into it, like every ribbon, every the tab. I've checked everything. So now I'm not proficient, but yes, close to proficient in PPT. But Excel, I always felt, very weak. So it was quite helpful. Specifically, there was the flash thing and
Flash fill.
yeah, and that
Ah,
the paste special. It was amazing.
good. So we'll, as I said, today we were knowing the Excel. Day after we'll use the Excel. So it was more.
Yeah, my lesson for the day is you need to teach Excel, then only. And and the second lesson is whatever you select,
It will
uh,
happen on that only.
it will happen.
Yep. So you got the gist. Good. Now teach this to others.
Yeah, sure.
Great. So hope to see you on day after.
Yeah, buddy. Thank you so very much. Thank you
Thanks.
so
Take
much.
care.
Yes. Bye bye.
Bye. Take care.